Hello, welcome to JS Machine. My name is Jerry. Had questions on the rocket stove, what it is, and what I would use it for, or who would want this stove. A rocket stove is an efficient and hot burning cook stove, portable cook stove. I mean, this one's definitely tailored for being portable. Uses small diameter wood, as you can see, ranging from my pinky up to almost my thumb. That's where I would keep this smaller stove. Those smaller sizes burn a lot better. The fuel's burned in a simple combustion chamber containing a vertical chimney, which ensures almost complete combustion prior to the flames reaching the cook surface. And as you can see, we have very little smoke coming out of this one. The stove was designed or developed in third world countries where they have an issue of finding enough fuel to heat their houses and do their cooking. In India, a rocket stove used 18 to 35% less fuel compared to traditional stoves, and used 39 to 40% less fuel compared to three-stone fires. And so this morning I set up a three-stone fire. We have our 3 stones. I had my pan sitting up there, it's a little hot. So we build our fire down here, and we set our fire, or a pan on top of the fire, and we cook our meal. Well, as you can see, that very inefficient and produces a lot of emissions. So this is where the rocket stove comes into play. Very efficient, uses very little wood, and the way this one's designed transfers that heat very well to your pan. If you do not want to, use this stove is for outdoor use only. We are in the shop because it's windy outside, but we got a large space. It's very open in here, and therefore we're able to get away with it inside this morning. For wood, well, first of all, to start the fire, you can use grass, and that's how I started this one this morning. Is I found some grass that blew up here last night or something next to the door. Stuck it in there, threw my sticks in there, lighted it, and caught real quick. I have used lighter fluid, just dip a little bit on a couple of 3 sticks, stick them in there, light it, or you can put newspaper in there. Uses small diameter wood fuel, such as branches, twigs, small wood scraps like we're using here today, and dry grasses. The tips of the sticks burn, which increases combustion efficiency, creating a very hot fire and eliminating any smoke. We have the parts of the stove. We have our burn magazine right here. On this one here, this lower opening is for our air. We have an insulated burn chamber, and the burn chamber is down in there where you see the flames. We have a chimney and our heat exchanger. And on top of the heat exchanger, that's where we set our pan to, fry pan or boil water, whatever you want. And as you see, you need to keep poking the wood down in there. You don't want to shove this whole thing clear full of wood. It seems to work better just adding a couple sticks every few minutes, or 5 minutes, whatever it is. And that's how you also regulate the heat. The more, if you keep fresh sticks in there, it'll burn hotter. If it gets too hot, let it burn down a little. Maybe only stick one stick in there every few minutes. So who would want this stove? Well, things that come to my mind anyway, your hunters, a fisherman, any outdoors activities, or a family going to a park, and you want a small portable cook stove that you can just throw in your rig and always have with you. And in most, if not all, conditions, you should be able to find fuel to burn in this thing in your environment. Real easy to find a small dead branch or little twigs laying on the ground or whatever. So there's no real big concern about carrying fuel with you. Some of the ideas came to my mind. You're going fishing and you catch a couple of fish and you want to have make an afternoon lunch and fry up some of the fish you caught. And so all you'd need is a little oil and your fry pan, and you can have a hot meal. An idea that I want to try out is I love to ice fish in the wintertime. So I can throw this in with my ice fishing gear. I'll have to carry some fuel with me. And, at lunch I can have a hot bowl of soup, or late in the afternoon, towards the evening there, your coffee's getting low in the thermos and getting cold, and, we can build a fire in this stove and heat up some coffee. And, probably only need to carry a 4 to 6 inch by diameter piece of wood that's a foot long, and I'd have more than enough wood to last me all day long. So to kind of let you know or give an idea how hot this thing is, there on our chimney we're 400 degrees. We're getting nearly 1,000 degrees inside our burn chamber. And the bottom of our pan is 450 degrees. I don't want to cook all the oil out of that pan, so better get it off of there. On the outside of our insulation, we're 130 degrees, so we're substantially cooler, therefore transferring more heat up to our pan. Our legs are getting a little bit hot, but I've been burning this thing probably for an hour now this morning. This has been trying to get a decent video here, and so I have to have phone or the camera shutting off and all kinds of problems. So that's why we didn't start it showing you, or I didn't show you that me starting it and why it's already good and hot in there. So that should produce more than enough heat to meet any needs that anybody would have to cooking a meal. So let's move over here and we'll unpack our stove and I'll show you how to put it together. So it all fits into this 50 caliber ammo can. I found that this flexible lighter is a nice addition to the stove. I mean, it fits right in there. The rigid kind I don't think is going to fit in there unless I change the design somewhere, which I could. But anyway, this one fits fine. It's kind of an afterthought. Something that would definitely you would want included in this, so you never have to worry about having a way to start your fire. We have 2 legs, and as you see on the legs, there's 2 tabs, but they're towards one end. You know, this one's clear to the front of the leg, and we have a gap back here. This is the back. So we have our base here, and we have our slots. And the legs just fit into the slots. Hope I'm still in the camera here. And as you can see, the reason that they're offset, it moves the legs further back from the center line of the stove, giving more stability. And you don't want the legs to be splayed out a little bit. The pieces are bent, and this is what keeps them tight. And then we put our heat exchanger on and build your fire and you're ready to go. So when you get done, of course, you're going to have to let it cool off a little bit. You know, probably give it 15 minutes. It should cool down fairly quickly. I haven't timed it. We take our base and we want it towards the door here. I've tried it the other way, and for some reason, sometimes on some of these cans, I was having a little bit difficulty getting, but I've never had it with by putting the base towards the lid. This fits right down in there. It kind of wedges down in there and keeps everything tight. It doesn't move around at all. Take your 2 legs with the tabs. They will be opposite from each other. And they fit down into the burn chamber. And they need to be at an angle so they don't stick up here too far. And then, of course, we talked about our little lighter here. And so we have everything contained in here. You know, I got thinking, if you know, a person, this is 6 inches. So if you cut your stick 6 inches, you know, a person could stack the chimney here full of wood. And so you'd have everything you needed right here to get this stove going, with your lighter and your wood right here. So, you know, just throw that in your rig, and like I say, you'll never be without a very efficient cook stove that you can find fuel to feed it anywhere that you're going to be at least probably 99% of the time. So I hope that answers some of the questions, gives you an idea. You know, one area just quickly is the cost of this. With all of the material, and obviously these aren't painted. They will be painted before they're ready to sell. That's what I'm going to be doing today. I got just under $50 in materials here. And I was questioning adding the insulation, but that only added about $5. So we're, you know, very little cost, and we're getting a lot more heat up to our pan. So it definitely well worth for the little bit of expense and the extra time. So conservatively, I was giving myself 2 hours to build one of these, and in my hours that includes the welders, the wire, filler wire, the gases, the electricity to both cut the parts out and to weld with, and so that's where we've come up to a cost of $150. So, like I say, any questions, let me know. Put them below. I've got to do another video, and I'd like to do one out in the trees or something sometime. and maybe cooking something. So thanks for watching.